Hello, hello, my beautiful souls. I am so excited you're here with me. I think I'm live. So I think we're good. If you're watching it's right now or with the replay, let me know. I'm just going to check really quick. Oh, there I am. Perfect. I just wanted to make sure that I saw myself in in the group. Okay, so I am going to press the record button and we're going to get into diving into inner authority, what it is, why it's so important in human design, and how you can start working with yours. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. When I pop it up, it's going to be kind of funky, but that's okay. Oh, wrong one. I only have like 15 Canva windows open. Where's the one that I want? Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, let's hit the present button. Okay, present. Okay, there we are. So I'm gonna, let's see, your screen sharing is paused. Why is that? Why is that? Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure that it's popping up properly in the Facebook group. So give me 1 quick second. Bear with me. Okay, it's not. I wonder why. I don't know. Okay, well, give me 1 second, you guys. Technology and me, I'm going to unshare it. Okay, so bring out the technology because I thought I had it, but apparently I didn't. If you have any questions about your inner authority or what inner authority is or anything to do in that general topic, please leave them below because I really want to make sure that that I am helping you out there. That's the point of this. It's not just me educating you, but me educating you in all of this and also helping you to really tap into your inner authority. Because remember, in human design, it boils down to 2 things: strategy and authority, following your strategy and trusting yourself in your own inner authority. When you got those 2 things, that's where you start. But a lot of the time, in order for us to really get those 2 things, it takes a lot of deconditioning. So that's a whole nother topic. Right now, we're just talking about inner authority and what it is. Okay, I'm going to try sharing my screen again because I downloaded this. Let's see. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I'm just trying to, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, you guys. I never know what I'm doing. I just do my best here. Okay. All right. I'm going to share my screen again. And this time I'm going to share it with this. Now we're going to see if this works. Okay. I'm going to check the Facebook group 1 more time. Make sure that it's popping up as I intend it to, and it looks like it is. Excellent. Okay, I'll figure out all of this technology stuff, but we do what you got to do. All right, so I'm going to hit, okay, let me, oh, geez. Hang on, I want to record this meeting, and I don't think I am. Okay. Give me 1 more second. I'm going to stop the share 1 more time, but I got that handled. I do want to hit record. Okay. Welcome, welcome. We are here and we are going to talk to you all about inner authority today. So let me share my screen. Okay. All right. All right. So What is inner authority? So inner authority is basically your intuition, but in human design, depending on your definition, depending on what energy centers you have defined and what energy centers you have undefined, will determine what your inner authority is. And when you head to my website, MalloryRiess.com, and you get your human design chart, I have videos specifically breaking down your specific inner authority. So I'm not going to really go through in this class about how to work with your own unique inner authority. That you can find on my website when you run your human design chart. But what I'm going to do is kind of give you a little bit of background and understanding of inner authority and how to start working with it in general. Okay, so the premise of human design is fundamentally about decision making. When we're able to make correct decisions for our life tends to unfold a lot more naturally with a little more ease in general. It doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect and there's not going to be any roadblocks that you hit ever. I mean, we are human. We live on this 3D material plane. It's going to happen. But it's more about making correct decisions so that you're in alignment with truly and fundamentally who you are. Very often you'll hear people in the human design world, especially in the more new agey side of it, which I feel like I kind of fall in the middle between traditional and a little more new age spiritual. But you'll hear it termed intuition a lot. And like I said, it depends on your definition where your intuition actually lies and how it speaks to you. It'll lie somewhere in one of the energy centers, and it's going to speak to you differently depending on the energy center. Okay, so, I guess I kind of covered that. So what is inner? We covered that. It is your own inner intuition, and it's learning to trust your own intuition and how it speaks to you and what it's saying over all of the chatter in the mind. Our minds are very strong. They're very powerful. But it is not supposed to be the guiding force in yourself. That was the seven-centered being way of doing life, right? So remember, the energy centers evolved out of the Hindu chakra system. So up until 1781, humanity had 7 energy centers, which is the Hindu chakra system that so many of us are familiar with. Well, in 1781, we transitioned. We did a transmutation of the human species, and we went from 7 centers to 9 centers. And with that, we went from 7-centered beings. They were designed to use their mind, to use their logical minds to operate, to make decisions, to really listen to outer authority on what to do, what not to do, lot. That's what they were designed to do. That's how we're supposed to function. That's how so much of the infrastructure of what we currently have now has been put in place. And we still have a lot of 7-centered conditioning still happening, right? This is over 200 years later, and we're still working through a lot of that conditioning. And that's because, a lot of it's ancient and it served a purpose. That's one thing that I love about human design is it teaches me, so often we'll ask questions like why? And it's like, when you look at things through the human design lens, you can see how things served a purpose. There was a purpose to the seven-centered being way. There was a purpose to us listening to more outer authority because it helped us to build all the infrastructure that we currently have, eventually leading up to all this technology that we have. And for the vast majority of people that are tapped into more, first world modernized countries, we have a lot of freedom, even if we don't always think it, because our minds tend to lean a little bit more towards the negative and what we don't have rather than everything that we do have. That's why gratitude is such a powerful practice, because it reminds you of how much you actually do have, Nowadays, especially if you're scrolling Instagram or Facebook or something more Instagram, you see a getting back to the roots, farming again and making all their own bread and doing things more from scratch again. But the beauty is that's a choice. It's not you have to do it this way because there's no other option. You have options. You get to choose to make all your food from scratch. Because, at the end of the day, it's probably about the same cost, maybe not quite so much, but it also time, like time is energy, money is energy. So when we, when we choose to take more time to do things, maybe it costs us less, but we're using our time for it. And that's okay. That is the beauty of all of this. No matter what path you choose, it's okay. Just honor yourself as yourself and trust yourself. If you are intuitively drawn to make all of your own bread and to grow all of your own gardens and all the food that you eat, heck yeah, more power to you. Trust that calling, trust that drawing of you wanting to do that. That is your inner authority speaking to you. Now, if it's more like you're watching Instagram, like you're on Instagram and you're seeing all of these women or men, making all this bread and telling you like how much better it is for you and that you should do this. And if you're feeling like a guilt, like oh, maybe I should make all your own bread, and it's not an authentic action that you're wanting to do, then that's conditioning, right? So it all comes down to listening to your inner authority. And we have all of these outer authorities. Even me right now, I'm being an outer authority. And I talk about this all the time. Do not take everything that I say as the be all and end all, because it's not. You can listen to what I say. And my intention is to bring value and help empower you to truly listen to yourself. And eventually not even need me. That's the whole point, is to eventually not need me. So, and that's for us 9-centered beings. When we're over here in our 9 energy centers, what we are now, we're designed not to listen to outer authority as much. We can take outer authority in and process it and filter it through our own energy, and then choose and listen to our own inner authority. Does this resonate or not? Is this true for me or not? Is this something that I need to take action on or not? And it's, like that's where it really is coming from. Okay. So there are like so many different things in human design. There are many different inner authorities. And I say hierarchy of inner authority here, and that's not really the correct term. So it's not like one, don't take that out of context when I use the word hierarchy. It is not that one inner authority is better than another. In anything in human design, it is never something is better than something else. They're just different. They just operate differently, be it energy centers, gates, definition, digestion type, inner authority, whatever area of human design that we're focusing on. If I ever use the word hierarchy, it's not in the context of something is better or worth more or more valuable than something else. It's how to understand when you're looking at a chart. If you're looking at a chart and you can kind of be able to pick out how, in this case, inner authority works. So I'm going to walk you through that. Okay, so we have emotional authority over here on the far left-hand side of your screen. So we're going to read from left to right, just like we normally read. So emotional authority. So if the solar plexus system is defined, and that's about 50% of the population, it is automatically you are emotional authority. You are designed to flow through your emotional wave, more clarity in order to make the correct decision for you. You're designed to really be in tune with your own emotions and feelings around things and honor those. And then with that clarity of how you feel about something over time, you then choose and make your decision. So emotion. So if the solar plexus is defined, that's the little triangle on when you're looking at your human design chart, it'll be on the right-hand side. If that is defined and colored in, then automatically, if you see a chart, oh, that's an emotional being. And we can have emotional generators, manifestors, and projectors. All right. So any of those can be emotional. The only ones are reflectors, because reflectors have no energy centers defined, which we'll talk about at the end. Okay, sacral. The sacral center is the next one. So let's say that the solar plexus is not defined. It's white, it's open, but the sacral is defined. That's that square up from the bottom. That is the sacral energy center. And if that's defined, then you know automatically two things. You're dealing with a generator or a manifesting generator. And then two, they have sacral authority. And a sacral authority, kind of more that yes or no, like that gut intuition, like, okay, yes, no, and it's not even so verbal, right? The sacral, a lot of these authorities really aren't verbal at the end of the day, but the sacral authority, it's not all that verbal. It's more like this energy, like something draws you in and you're like, oh, yes, like tell me more, let me learn more. Like I'm really into that. It's this upliftment of energy. Whereas on the flip side of that, if it's a no, it's kind of like a, I don't, no, thank you. You know, like that, like you can kind of feel your energy like coming down. That's how it really, I'm a sacral being. So that's how it really works for me. So let's say that the solar plexus is undefined, the sacral is undefined. The next one, if you see the splenic system defined, we are in the third circle over from the left. This is the triangle. So the spleen is the triangle on the left-hand side of the chart. And this is, so again, if the emotional center is not defined, the sacral center is not defined, and the spleen is defined, that's how you know it's a splenic person. You're like, oh, okay, they have splenic authority. It's defined in both the emotional center, the sacral center, and the and the solar plexus center are undefined. And this comes down to, it could be like projectors or manifestors can have sacral authority. Your generators and manifesting generators are never going to have sacral authority. They can have their sacral defined, but that's not going to be their ultimate authority because they will have the sacral center defined. So either our manifestors or projectors will always have sacral, not always, but have the possibility of being sacral authority. And sacral authority, excuse me. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't want to confuse you. Splenic authority. We are on the spleen. So projectors and manifestors, they never have the sacral defined. It's always white. It's always open, but they can have the spleen defined. And the spleen really speaks to you quietly. Remember, the spleen is a very primal energy center. It really comes from our primal ancestry to keep you safe. It's very instinctual, very in the moment. If you are a splenic being, you have splenic authority, again, head to my website and run your human design chart and watch the video that I have for you all about that. Okay, so now what happens if we have the solar plexus undefined, the sacral undefined, the spleen undefined, but the heart is defined? So remember the heart, so we're over here on the far right side on the top line there. The heart is that tiny triangle just to the right of the G center, the diamond in the middle. So if you have, this means you have ego or heart authority. All right. And this is the authority of where you follow your desires. You have the willpower to carry through things. Your authority will tell you the ego center or the heart center, you can use those words interchangeably, will tell you if you have the willpower and the energy to do something, and if you have the desire to do that. That's really what that's all about. And how that works in projectors and manifestors. These are the only two energy types that can have an ego center authority. It's going to function a little bit differently in manifestors and in projectors. So again, head to my website. If that is your authority, get your chart and watch the videos that I have for you. Okay, moving on. If the solar plexus, the sacral, the spleen, the heart, and the heart are all undefined, but the G center is defined, Then you have a self-projected projector. So the next two that we're talking about can only be projectors. If you want to understand how that operates, you can go watch the previous video that I did last week about energy types. And I kind of talk about how the different energies types, depending on the definition in your chart, how that all works. So you can go watch that video. But these next two are projectors. So self-projected projector is someone that has their G center defined. They can also have the throat, the head, and the ajna, or any combination of those four, but everything else is open. And again, if you want to understand how that works, please go to my website, download your video, or like get your chart, and you can watch the video about a self-projected projector if that is you. Okay. The last one of any defined energy types is our mental projector. So this is someone that doesn't have basically any of the energy centers below the throat defined. It's going to be a mental projector. So it can be the throat and the ajna that's defined, the ajna and the head that's defined, or the head, the ajna, and the throat. All three of those can be defined. It could be any combination of those three. That's why I have all of those highlighted. And those are our mental projectors. So you can also, again, go to my website, and I have a whole video all about how that plays out and how that authority works for our mental projectors. All right, last one is our lunar authority. So these are our reflectors. This is when all of the energy centers are wide open, or not wide open, but are undefined, right? You have lots of white. So that's why I have no energy centers defined here. And when we have our lunar authority, this is the authority of flowing through the lunar cycle, right? You can go to my website again and get a really detailed explanation of what that looks like, how that plays out in real life, how that authority works. But basically, it's dependent on the moon. Lunar, the rest of the energy types are all solar beings. We since we have defined centers, we work more with the sun, whereas lunar beings, our reflectors, are much more connected to the moon. And that's because the moon travels through all 64 gates within a lunar cycle, which is about 28 and a half, 29 days or so, roughly around there. Don't quote me on it, but it's right in that range. So, and you're designed to go with the moon, and that's how your authority works. You have a very sampling energy, so you can go in and you need to make decisions over that time, because how the moon creates definition within your chart throughout that cycle really has a big impact on how you feel things, how you show up, how you feel the different energies around you throughout that cycle. So that is a quick breakdown of all the 7 different authority possibilities. I would love to know what your inner authority is, so drop it down in the comments. Okay, so questions. If you have any questions, I'm going to go on my phone in just a second and look to see if there are any questions here live. If you're watching the replay, still feel free to drop your questions down below. I would love to answer them. And the last time, I'm going to reiterate this. To get more information about each of yours, not each, but your specific inner authority and how it operates, head to my website, Mallory Riess. You can run your chart for free, and you can get your inner authority video for free as well. I think that's really important. I like to provide all that at no cost too, because it's where you start your journey. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop the share and go big again. Okay, so one question that I did have, let me pull it back up here. Give me one. Oh, where did it go? Okay, just bear with me. We're almost done. Okay, so I had Judy ask earlier, being a lunar authority, should I also connect with other transits? So, you can. the one of the reasons, not the sole reason, but one of the reasons why reflectors are so in touch and in tune with the moon is because the moon is can't talk. The fast wow. Okay, slow down, Molly. The fastest moving object in the sky, right? Because the moon travels through the whole human all 64 gates within a lunar cycle. And the sun takes 5 years. Mercury moves pretty fast because it's pretty close to the sun, not 365 years, 365 days for the sun. Oh my goodness. You can tell I've been talking too long. And then we have Mercury. Mercury moves pretty fast. It probably goes to, well, retrogrades kind of mess up how quickly it actually goes around the whole mandala. But let me answer your question. So the moon is the most important because it has the most impact on you, because it'll change the different, how the different definitions flow throughout the lunar cycle. So I definitely recommend running a lunar ephemeris if you haven't. You're going to ask me for a website to do so, and I don't have one off the top of my head, so I will look into that. I would say off the top of my head, Jovian Archive or Genetic Matrix. I think both of those would definitely have lunar ephemerises that you can run to see where, like, when the moon moves through each different gate. And I think you can actually connect that to your chart. That might be a page feature on Genetic Matrix, but I'm pretty sure that's a possibility to do. So you can kind of map that out, and you can be very aware of how you're feeling throughout that time. The other one is the sun. The sun is still really important. It moves pretty quickly, and it has a big impact on us because we get the most neutrino stream. The largest neutrino stream comes to us through the sun. So all of us are impacted by the sun. So, and the sun moves gates roughly every 6 days. That's a rough number, but roughly every 6 days, the sun moves into a different gate. So paying attention to that could be really good. All the other planets, if you're just starting out on your journey, I would say probably not something you need to worry about too much at this point, unless that's something that really piques your interest. Like if that's something that you're in, like after you flow through a 28-day cycle, your next lunar cycle after listening to this, if that's like something that's really drawing you, I go for it, do it. I was thinking on my website, let me know if this is of interest to anyone about having the possibility to look at the current transits on my website. I have the ability to do that. I just have not done that yet. So if that's of interest, so let me know. But, oh, my dog is out at the neighbors. Sorry. My dog's taking himself for a walk right now. We have a little very ornery Chiweenie that thinks he can just do whatever he wants because he's 14. But anyhow, back here. So let me know, Judy, if that answered your question. Let me check on my phone here. And I am so honored to have you in the group with us, a reflector in the group, because I love reflectors. You guys fascinate me so much, and I learned so much from you. So anything you ever have to share, I invite you to share, because we can all glean so much wisdom from the reflectors in our lives. Okay, I think that's about done. If you're a reflector, and like I said, if you want to dive into the transits more, you totally can. But the moon is definitely the most important because it has the most impact on you throughout your cycle. And everything else is just kind of more interesting. And it's actually a really great way to learn more about the gates and the channels by following all the transits. A really good way to learn about gates and channels if you also want to learn more about those. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Again, leave any questions you have, any comments you have down below. I'm a generator. I love to respond. I love to teach. I geek out on all of this stuff. And ultimately, I want to help you come back to yourself and be who you were designed to be. Peel back all the layers of conditioning, choose what pieces of conditioning you want to keep and what to let go of. And that's my jam. All right. I love you all so much. I'll see you later. Bye for now.